Hey everyone, welcome to Fighting Over the Card Catalog, a snarky look back on young adult novels of the 80s and 90s. I'm Jess.
And I'm Steven, and I'm here to make my wife happy.
Aw, yes. So, sorry for skipping last week. We had a real busy week. I had a ton of school stuff, and I was out for a day, and then it made me tired for quite a few days. Having a medical test done. We'll say a medical test.
Yeah.
Yeah. They stuck shit in my spine to see if it would make my muscles relax, and it did a little. And I'm very excited about it.
Good times. Just love those spinal taps.
I mean, they're the most fun. But I handled this one better than the last one because I actually did lay down that day because we had tickets to go see Endgame on my last one. Do you remember that? Yeah. We already had tickets before it was scheduled. And I was like, well, we're not going to go miss that. And I was like, I'll be sitting in a heated recliner. It'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have done that.
Man, that's too long. Don't remember.
You remember me crying though, right?
Vaguely, yes.
Because I was trying to hold it in, and then
and then you went or something like that,
and everybody laughed.
And then that gave permission for other people to do it.
Yeah, other people cried, but
so
other people laughed.
It was like so quiet. Then you hear.
I was trying to keep it quiet,
and then you hear it, and then you hear it. It just kind of goes around the room like a yawn or something.
Yeah, but I gave permission for people to express their emotions, and I'm still really proud of that. But anyways, then I had a horrible headache the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. But anyways, it was fine this time because we didn't go see a very emotional superhero movie. I haven't watched that again yet.
Yeah, I guess I haven't either.
No. Have you ever thought about doing the whole rewatching the entire Marvel series?
I don't know. I mean, they were just okay to me. Mm-hmm. Seriously, I'm sorry for people who that's their jam. WandaVision was really good. I enjoyed that. The others, they were okay.
Yeah.
Better than a lot of movies that have come out.
You don't think it would be interesting to watch them all, knowing now and
I mean, I guess.
See, I'd be into it. To do. I know a lot of people did that over quarantine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'd be interested in it, but it would take forever. But
it would take quite a while. It got a lot now.
But you know what? A lot of times we sit there going, "What the hell are we gonna watch?" So
yeah. Yeah. So
you seem pained by the idea, though. So anyway. What's not painful for you is reading the books anymore. So Yep. So this week's book, we're getting into the American Girl series, reading Meet Felicity by Valerie Tripp, published in 1991. So what do you know about the American Girls series?
All I know about the American Girls is the dolls. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that the books came because of the dolls, like they had to do backstories or something, mm-hmm. Or was it the other way around?
I do believe they came out together.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you know much about the girls and their stories?
No, I'm guessing that they. Okay, so I think my understanding is that. They have like girls from different time periods, mm-hmm. And like their little backstory is usually some kind of historical thing that was kind of, plausible for true to life.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. So they started in 1986, which is the same year as the Babysitters Club started publishing. So I was like, wow, big year. So yeah, they were originally historical stories. I guess in the 2000s they started adding like modern stories and.
Oh, well, this says something about it being in the Library of Congress catalog and publication. In 1951.
It's 1991.
Well, I don't know what maybe that's the author and their birth date. Never mind.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, they were not around in the 50s. Yeah. Yeah, the Felicity series started in 91. But yeah.
All right.
So the latest doll, they are still doing historical ones. They
Mm-hmm.
keep adding. The latest one is from the 80s, and it is tripping us older millennials the
Ha.
fuck out. um, but yeah, the dolls are really expensive. I
Yeah.
never had one. I always wanted one. I had already had a porcelain doll that looked a lot like Samantha, so I pretended she was her,
Okay.
but she was not. And my little brother broke her foot off. So
Mm.
anyway,
Brothers.
but man, they had this catalog.
I remember seeing a catalog.
Oh my god, it had. I mean, they had so many accessories. They had like you could buy their clothes for you.
I was gonna say, it seemed like the pricing for the clothing was the same as like real clothing. It wasn't like toy clothing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe I was thinking about them having actual clothing.
For the dolls, it was normal people clothing rates.
Hmm.
For the people clothes,
Much
they
more
were
expensive.
so expensive. So yeah, I always wanted a gorgeous little colonial dress or a Victorian dress. Mm, but God, they were pretty.
Hmm.
And I mean, they had all the accessories. They had beds. They had, I can't imagine. I should have looked it up how much the company is worth. They also have stores. I've never been to one, but there is one in the Galleria.
Mm.
So maybe that's what I want to do for my birthday.
So I may have been there before
Yeah?
with the kids because we've gone to the gallery a couple of times when they were younger.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine not
Yeah, if Megan saw
making use
that.
with this. Yeah.
Yeah. But you wouldn't have gotten
Wouldn't have
one
bought
for her.
anything.
No, no,
No.
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 um, so, being an old millennial, I was really only into the original five. Felicity, Kirsten, Addie, Samantha, and Molly. Though as an adult, I've learned of Kit and I enjoy her and I like her movie. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, let's get into it.
Meet Felicity, an American Girl by Valerie Tripp. Meet Felicity Merriman, a spunky, sprightly 9-year-old girl who lives in Williamsburg, Virginia in 1774, just before the Revolutionary War. She grows impatient doing. She grows impatient.
Yeah, it's a rough sentence.
She grows impatient doing sitting down kinds of things like practicing her stitchery or handwriting. She would much rather be riding horses. That's why Felicity is so excited to hear about a new horse in town. But the horse is owned by Jiggy Nye, the cruel tanner who beats his animals. Felicity sneaks off to visit the horse and falls in love with the copper-colored mare, which she names Penny. When Penny's life's in danger, Felicity knows she must help. Not a single exclamation point in the whole
Oh
thing.
no.
No, that's good.
I know. In all honesty, that's basically the entire plot.
Yeah.
Um,
They just told you the story, huh?
yeah. So this came
And
out.
that's our podcast.
Yep. Bye, everybody. No. So yeah. So since this did come out in 91, that's when I was living in Connecticut
Mm,
and like just fucking getting high on colonial history
mm.
and feeling like I was
Oh,
really
yeah,
living
okay.
in it. And so yeah, it didn't matter that this was in Virginia.
So
It
you
was
were
like
8,
9.
9.
Yeah.
I was graduating high school that year.
I was in 4th grade. Well, 3rd and 4th. So yeah, I was 8 and 9.
Nice.
Yep. Okay, gross. So, so we have a little family tree that is in the book if you want to know. So we have her father, her mother, and she's got a little sister Nan and a little brother William. We also learn about their friends in there, but they don't factor into the book yet. So Felicity arrives at her father's store, which sells all the things. It's basically a general store. Um, Her father greets her as she comes in and treats her like she's a grand lady, asking, what she needs that day. And he's just delightful. She loves the store and loves helping out there. But no, she cannot do it that day because the stupid new apprentice, Ben, is now there. And he helps Marcus in the storeroom. And he also lives in the loft above their stable. And he's quiet and boring.
Huh.
Besides, she's got mending and other girl shit to do at home. Her dad tells her not to give the sugar she just got to a horse like she did last time. Yeah, Felicity's a OG horse girl.
Huh.
But then Mrs. Mrs. Fitchitt comes in and she's like, "Holy hell, is this Felicity all grown up? Do you have a sewing sampler ready to show how good your stitching is for possible suitors?"
Huh.
Slow your roll, Mrs. Fitchitt.
She's 9. Come on.
But Felicity and her father are like, "Hell no, girl doesn't have patience for that. Only horses." And that reminds Mrs. Fitchett that she's there to order some oats for her horse, and then tells them about how the angry town drunk Jiggy Nye has a new horse that he won gambling. Felicity already despises this dude, as do I, because he does mistreat his cows and his horses, and he's a terrible person.
I mean, I can imagine being a town drunk as a tanner because it's a pretty gruesome, especially in 1774.
Oh, yeah.
You're around ammonia all day, and I mean, they're still using literal piss pots
Yeah, they
and
speak several times of how disgusting it smells.
yeah, and it's he's constantly around rotting flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine. I can imagine having to go to a different state, but that still doesn't give you permission to beat your animals.
Go to a different head state.
Yeah.
Not like go up to Carolina.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Oh, and remember they were growing marijuana on the plantations at that time.
Were they?
Yeah. Both Washington and Jefferson had
Oh.
hemp as stock, and that was not just for the hemp,
Oh. Good for them.
which was one of the main textiles of the time. But, of course,
Yeah.
later on, the Dow Industries and others got it.
Right.
So it's illegal. But anyway,
Right.
I digress.
Just want to talk about the staying mellow.
Well, I mean,
Doing whatever the hell it is you do in
maybe if he was
Monticello.
doing that instead of drinking alcohol,
Oh,
he
Jiggy
wouldn't
Nye,
be.
not Jefferson.
Yeah, then he would be not quite as violent.
Oh, maybe so.
Is it? Yeah, there was actually police officers in Colorado said that they much prefer handling people who are inebriated from THC than people who are drunk.
Oh, I bet.
They're just people who are just usually chill.
Yeah.
And just like, oh man,
Aw,
whatever.
man.
And then, people who are on alcohol.
Well, if they're white.
Become violent. And
So yeah, Mr. Merriman sends her home, but Felicity knows she's gonna end up seeing that horse come hell or high water. But first she has to practice her handwriting back at home. But she just ends up doodling horses. She asks if she can go help Ben make a delivery and is off. On the way to Mrs. Fitchitt's to drop off those oats, she tells Ben how envious she is of boys getting to wear breeches and do whatever he wants. And he's like, "Bitch, no, I'm an apprentice. I don't get to do whatever I want."
yeah, they were indentured servants, basically slaves.
Well, I don't think he was an indentured servant. There was a difference.
If you are an apprentice, you are basically
Well, yeah.
indentured until you get your license.
I know, but it's an actual, term.
Classification.
Yeah,
I'm saying
classification.
it's equivalent to
Right,
being an indentured
right,
servant.
but
yeah. It is technically, it is basically the same, technically not
Basically,
the same.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she also realizes, oh, he's probably pretty lonely and missing his family back in Yorktown. Dun,
Mm.
dun, dun. So then they get to Jiggy Nye's to bring him a horse bit that he ordered. But when and it's smelling bad. And when they get there, he's yelling at and threatening this beautiful new horse. Even though it's a bit of a mess, Felicity can tell that she's beautiful. And Jiggy goes to whip her, and Felicity yells out, "No, don't!" And the horse runs off. So obviously he's pretty pissed at Felicity, but she doesn't care. Um, and then he also doesn't take the bit because Ben has the audacity to ask for a payment right then and there. Because Mr. Merriman knows what's up with him. And on the way back, Ben says the horse is a thoroughbred and has no business pulling a cart. Um, and Felicity sides Penny. That's what I'm going to call that horse. She's the color of a new copper penny. And Ben's like, yeah. And she's an independent-minded horse. Call her Penny for independence, too. Ah, Ben, good one. About a month later, Felicity's practicing her sewing. And her mother drags her by telling her that her 6-year-old sister sews better. Dag.
Huh.
Miss Merriman asks Felicity to go take a neighbor some preserves and also to take her brother and sister with her, which means she can't go see Penny all by herself. But they do go anyway, with Nan complaining about the smell.
Mm.
And poor Penny, is tied to a stake and looking even worse. Felicity climbs up on the fence to give her a sugar cube. But all of a sudden, of course, Jiggy Nye comes out and pulls her down and yells at her that the horse is wild and dangerous and that Felicity scares her. And she's like, bullshit, you're the only one that scares her. And then as if to like prove her right, he gets in the pen with a big old stick, but Penny breaks the rope and runs off. And he yells at her, swearing he'd give her away to anyone who could actually ride her.
Huh.
Foreshadowing.
Huh.
And he says he'll also skin the children if they ever come back. Cool.
Huh.
William sells Felicity out right away at dinner, but he's like 2, so.
Mm.
Felicity tells him how much Jiggy Nye fucking sucks, and Ben backs her up by saying Jiggy will end up killing Penny. And so Felicity asks if they can buy her. And, she'll take care of her and train her, obviously. But obviously, that's a no-go. Their 2 horses they have are enough. Thank you. So then she starts pulling some sort of bullshit that I would absolutely do for an animal. Was it because of books like this? Maybe.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. So she sneaks out of bed super early one day and gets dressed and takes Penny an apple that she leaves on the fence for her. At breakfast, her mom notices her wet dress, the hem of it. But Felicity says she was just out in the garden. It's fine. But she's like, well, shit, I do need some pants and I'd be able to run as fast as I could and, not get caught with a wet dress. So she just goes and steals some from Ben. Like, cool, Felicity.
Yeah.
She's like, he barely wears them, just sometimes to church.
Yeah, she still has good pants.
Yeah, she
Wow.
did. But, she can go quickly now to bring an apple every day, so that's all that matters. She's able to get closer to Penny, eventually petting her, and then she can get into the pen, and then Penny starts playing with her to get the apple and nudging at her, and it's just delightful and so sweet. But Mrs. Merriman and Ben have noticed his pants are missing. She's like, I asked you to put your pants in the basket for mending. He's like, I did. And he can't find them anywhere. And Felicity's just, Felicity, don't care. Because now she's riding Penny. Even though she almost gets caught by Jiggy Nye one day, of course. But then one day she does get caught by Ben with his pants. But she explains, and he's like, fine, all right. I guess you do need them more than I do. Besides, they smell like a horse, and I don't really want them back. I bet they kind of smell like the tannery as
Mm.
well, too. um, so then she decides to do something I would never have the balls to do. She's brushing Penny, which she's been scared to do until now, to make it look like, oh, somebody's taking care of her. But it's a special day. Felicity's wearing her special coral necklace and favorite dress because she wants them to look their best as Felicity rides through town to her house on this horse. And her family's obviously like, what the fuck? And she tells them how, Jiggy Nye said if someone could ride her, he'd give them to her.
She's a horse thief.
So
She's gonna get hung.
yeah, her dad's like, you probably took that too seriously. And that's when Jiggy Nye himself shows up, and yeah, he's hella pissed. Felicity swears she did nothing wrong. She heard what he said, and he's all, he never said that, but her sister's all like, bitch, I heard you. But of course, it doesn't matter.
That's only one witness. She needs 2 witnesses for a court of law.
Well, there's little William. He might have paid attention, but he is too.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has to give Penny back, and it's a fucking heartbreaking scene, and I can't really talk about it. But she's like, it was stupid to even try, but her dad's proud of her for taming Penny and says the worst thing to do is to not try. And I love Mr. Merriman very much. She goes to give Ben his pants back, and they discuss how Jiggy Nye's just going to starve Penny and kill her. And this is all very harrowing for a children's book.
Mm.
But, I guess realistic. So it's a history book after all.
Yeah.
And Ben's like, it would just be better if she were free. And Felicity's like, yeah. Fuck yeah, it would be. And Ben's like, yeah, like you just said, the penalty for stealing a horse is hanging. But does that stop our girl, Felicity? No. She puts those pants on and goes to Penny that night. She climbs up on her, and they run to a broken spot in the fence, but all shit has been fixed. But good girl Penny jumps anyway. And Felicity falls off, but she's okay. Penny stops and waits for her, but Felicity tells her to go. And she tells Ben about it. And she's like, do you think Penny knows I love her? And oh my God, it's such a scene. And I teared up a little bit now. Of course I did. But I don't know. Do you think a thoroughbred out in the world, out in the woods is
I mean, comparatively,
better off? Yeah.
I don't know, because it's
Somebody'd
probably
have
going to
to-
starve.
Somebody'd have to catch her though, right? Somebody would see this thoroughbred roaming the woods while they're out hunting or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Yeah, probably.
yeah, that's what I'm going to hope for. A
Might get
wonderful,
mistaken for a deer.
rich. I know, but I'm going to choose to believe a wonderful, rich family found her, and she lived a long and happy life. Anyway, that's the end. But guess what? There's 5 pages of actual history at the end of the book.
Ah.
Like, talking about Williamsburg and the colonies and their clothes and just like life in 1774. And I still live for that shit. Yeah. So, yeah, that was my jam.
Nice.
When I was little. I love them. And I still want a Felicity doll. They have some on eBay. Like, just
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
I mean, they don't have her anymore at the store, so. So what you reading?
Let's see. I finished Rebel Mechanics, which is kind of a steampunk type
Sounds like.
book, and I enjoyed it. I'll read other ones from that. I finished Futuristic Violence and Fancy Suits, which was one I've been reading for a little while now.
Right.
It's actually by the author who did John Dies at the End.
I
Is that
don't
it?
know that. I don't.
It was a movie. They made it into a movie
Called the same thing?
called John Dies at the End. Yeah. It was pretty good.
Does John actually die at the end?
He does, but there's a
Okay.
twist as well.
I
So
would hope so.
the second book in that series is Joey Punches the Future in the Dick.
I mean, these are some great titles.
So I've got it on my want to read list. Finished Leave the World Behind, which was the dystopian type one that I was telling you about, where it was talking about a family that was on
Oh,
vacation
right. Yeah.
and somebody shows up their house and it's the people who own the house. You know, they had rented it through
Mm.
a company. And the people were saying, you know, we were at the theater in New York and all this stuff started happening and we thought, well, we just wanted to be home. So we came. Is
Sorry.
it okay if we stay? And, you know, I can give you some money. And then they start figuring out, you know, there's like no cell service, there's
Mm.
no broadcast going on, and um, they don't really know what's happening, what's going on. And this book basically just covers like 2 or 3 days at the beginning of this and
Mm.
doesn't go into detail about the minutia of what happened. It's just, you
I think
know,
that's cool.
it kind of leaves it very open-ended
Because
for what
I
is going to
imagine in that
happen.
sort
It,
of situation, you wouldn't know all
yeah,
the things if there's no
yeah,
internet, TV, or anything.
anything.
You would be very insulated
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. I think that's cool.
So that was pretty good. I like that one. It has a 3.29 rating um, on Goodreads, but I think that's mainly because it doesn't give a lot of closure
Yeah, that can be very
and yeah.
frustrating.
Anyway, so what I'm actually reading now, I've got March Upcountry. I've just been kind of reading that as a filler for waiting for other books to come
Oh,
in.
okay.
That's my nighttime reader,
Oh,
and
okay. The one you actually physically read.
yeah. So I mean, it's been okay so far, but I haven't really gotten very far
Yeah.
into it, so I don't know. Just finished Supernova. I'm gonna give it 3 stars probably. Supernova by Cass Morgan, and I have that I'm starting next week. Bernard
Oh
Cornwell's
boy.
Bernard Cornwell's Sword of Kings,
Oh, yes.
which is like the 8th or 9th in this
Mm-hmm.
series, and they had it at the library, so of course I got it because
Yeah,
Bernard
you
Cornwell's my
love him.
favorite author. So.
Love
That's what I got going on.
Okay. I was gonna say, don't just say that's it, because that was like what, 6 books or
Yeah.
something.
Well, you know, we skipped last week,
It's
so
true. And you have been listening more during work. You hadn't been for a
yeah.
long time because you were way too focused and stressed, I guess.
Yeah, focused. And the other thing was that they just haven't had any really good books that
Mm.
I've wanted to read or
Oh.
listen to. But
Oh.
I've got another 2 or 3 on hold now, so
Yeah,
I've got stuff
they're
for
coming.
a few weeks at least.
So I have one book. The Memory Theater by Karen Tidbeck. It's kind of difficult to describe the plot of this book. It's like there's this terrible, fucked up universe with terrible people and kids as their servants, and then 2 of them escape and come into our world. And okay, I just pulled this from Goodreads. Along the way, they encounter a mysterious traveler who trades in favors and never forgets debts. Crossroads at the center of the universe, our own world on the brink of war, and a traveling group of actors with the ability to unlock the fabric of reality. I mean, it's pretty fun. I recommend it, even though. So, usually I have to really connect with a character narrator to enjoy a book. But I didn't this time, but I still enjoyed it.
Mm.
So I think that's a pretty good recommendation of it. It's a really good escapist book. It's like really engaging and beautifully written, so I recommend it. But that's all I've done this
Nice.
past 2 weeks or whatever. But I had a lot of school, so
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to watch TikTok in bed on weeknights now and to read more. So yeah, I love TikTok so much. It makes me so
Yeah,
happy.
I still find myself getting in bed and looking at Facebook for like 45 minutes,
I know.
and then I read for 5 minutes, and I'm too tired and fall asleep.
And half that time you're listening to whatever TikTok video I'm watching and you start laughing at it. So yeah. See, I don't have any, I mean, that's why I got my Kindle, was to purposefully not put social media
Right.
on it. But when I first got TikTok, I did put that on it. So, but I don't watch it on my Kindle now, even though it's still on there. But it's just slower than on my phone. Just processing speed, I
Right.
guess. Although I can watch like Hamilton. Like I can watch streaming stuff on it just fine. But TikTok's a little bit too much for it. But anyways, that's fine. I don't need to watch TikTok. Hopefully I will be reading more.
So it probably has something to do with the buffering capability of TikTok versus something else.
Yeah. It's no, I'm not gonna say that. Anyway. So okay. Next book. Normally I would like to do a very snarky one after doing a book I actually love. But with Beverly Cleary dying
I was
last
just about to
week.
say, I thought you might do Beverly Cleary this week, but you had already
Yeah,
announced, I guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ramona was my girl for sure, as was many of yours, I know. Did you ever read any Ramona books?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't specifically remember, but
Okay.
I definitely remember the name, so most likely.
Yeah. I'm not going to start with Ramona the Pest. I want to get into Ramona and her father for the first one. So that's going to be next week. And I'm very excited. I heard the worst story on Twitter, though. Judy Blume, tweeted that, so sad about her dying. And she regrets never meeting her. It's like Judy Blume and Beverly Cleary are like tied in my mind, like so closely. Because I guess because they had so many books.
Yeah.
Of relatable characters. So it blows my mind. It makes me so sad they never met.
I mean,
I cannot
Ramona
believe
the
that.
Pest sounds like a Judy Blume book.
Yeah. So yeah, that's next week. I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably have some feelings. So anyways, if you enjoy our show, please share it, tweet it. Word of mouth is, what we need. Best way for podcasts to grow. Rate and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and all your podcast places. Find us on kind of Facebook. Should really send you links for stuff to put on there. Instagram and YouTube. Fighting Over the Card Catalog, and Twitter at Card Catalog Pod. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Just Digress, or send us an email at fightingOvertheCardCatalog@gmail.com. That almost got me.
Yeah.
We're rereading. I am rereading the book. I guess I gotta fix that.
So we don't have to. Okay.
Very good. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.